Hi, this is Amanda Mayer, and this is the case study for EDL 854, the budget debacle. Let's summarize the case and establish the facts. Who was involved? Mr. Santos is the principal of the school. Mr. Bailey is the president of the Briardale Elementary Foundation. Mr. Morley is a former fraternity brother of Mr. Bailey, and he's the president of another elementary foundation. And there's a history of competition between the two. And then the whistleblower. It was a minor person in this case. When and where did this occur? Briardale Elementary is where it occurred. It's a K-5 school with around 600 students. It's one of 6 elementary schools in the district. It has a very low turnover. Most of the teachers in the school district have been teaching there for most of their teaching careers, with few resignations or transfers to other school districts. There is a lot of parental support at Briardale. They've been very supportive of the supplementary programs funded by the foundation. It happened on the night of the raffle drawing at the school. What happened? What occurred? Mr. Bailey was chosen to lead the Briardale Elementary Foundation. As part of the orientation to the foundation, Mr. Santos, the principal, spent time with Mr. Bailey and informed him of his job as the fundraiser, his role as president, and his responsibility to meet with the school site curriculum committee and inform them of any ideas that might influence the supplementary curriculum programs that the foundation usually raised money to support. Mr. Bailey was motivated to raise the most money that had ever been raised by any foundation in the district, as well as by his competition with his former fraternity brother, Mr. Morley. He decided to come up with a unique idea to raise money for the Briardale Foundation. He remembered a fundraiser from his former college days when that included selling raffle tickets in exchange for cash to win. Someone from the community tipped off the local sheriff that this was happening in Briardale Elementary School, that there was a raffle for cash event that was being held. The sheriff arrived on the scene the night of the raffle, just as the raffle was beginning. Mr. Bailey was asked to accompany the sheriff to the station, where he was arrested and then released. He was convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation for his role in a raffle for cash event. Mr. Santos, the principal, is personally embarrassed. The raffle for cash event and the budget debacle ended up on the front page of the local newspaper and left an indelible mark on the Briardale Foundation. So let's report any legal and ethical issues. Was there harm? Yes, there's harm on multiple fronts. Mr. Bailey was arrested and put on probation, so there was harm on him. The reputation of the school, of the foundation, was hurt. The student supplemental resources and curriculum could be in harm, because the foundation supports the student supplemental resources, curriculum, and programs, and these might be affected if donors are uncomfortable giving to the foundation after this debacle. Were there any laws broken? Yes. The state that the school is in must not allow raffle for cash as fundraisers, because it might consider it gambling, or maybe it could be that the foundation didn't obtain the necessary license in order to hold the fundraiser. Was there a contract breached? Not necessarily, unless the position of the president of the foundation held some sort of a contract. So if we summarize here again, the issue, it's the Briardale Elementary Foundation, specifically Mr. Bailey, sponsored an illegal raffle to raise funds for the school, and that's what caused the problem. Again, if we look at the facts, the people that were involved is the principal, Mr. Santos, Mr. Bailey, the foundation president. Minor roles were played by Mr. Morley, the rival elementary foundation president, the whistleblower who informed the sheriff of the event, and obviously the sheriff. It took place at Briardale Elementary. That's where the raffle was being held through the foundation. The program, this involves a supplemental program and curriculum that is supported by the Briardale Elementary Foundation. If we review and prioritize the information, again, was there damage? Yes, the students will suffer the consequences of the misdemeanor because the foundation and the school's relationship could be severed based on what will happen because of this. The stakeholders, obviously there's the foundation, the students and the teachers, the school, the principal, that all benefit from the foundation and the money that they raise and the supplemental programs and that they help support. Can a decision be made? I do believe that there's enough information to move forward. There are a couple things that it would be nice to have a little bit more information, maybe some more information on the exact nature of the foundation, like the policies in place for approving fundraisers, how they work with the school, maybe some more background information on that. But I do believe there's enough information to move forward. If we look at our options, we can look at option 1 is to take no action. We allow Mr. Bailey and the foundation to take all the blame, and the school moves forward like the incident didn't occur. Option 2 would be to remove Mr. Bailey as from the position of the president of the foundation, and then replace that with a school employee. That could be so that the school has more control over the foundation. Option 3 would to be allow the foundation to decide on Mr. Bailey's fate. So the foundation decides what happens with him, whether he stays on as president or whether they replace him. And then also, along with this, implement training and our legal counsel to develop an approval process for fundraisers. Option 4 would be to dissolve the foundation or at least sever ties. The school would have nothing to do with the foundation, and rely solely on money from the school to sponsor those supplemental programs. If we evaluate our options, we can see that if we do option 1, the foundation takes the blame, there's no damage control done. It's out there. It's obviously been on the front page of the news. The school accepts no responsibility, but this could damage the relationship with the foundation, who has been provided many benefits to the students and teachers of the school. Option 2, which was to forcibly remove Mr. Bailey and to replace with a school employee, this ensures more control over the foundation, but because the school is taking more control, could damage the relationships with the parents and the community members involved in the foundation, as well as overload the employee that is selected to be in that position. Option 3 is to allow the foundation to decide the fate and then implement legal counsel. This option allows for the independence of the foundation. The foundation was set up separate from the school, and it allows them the ability to stay that way. It helps ensure, though, by implementing those legal counsel and policies and procedure, it helps ensure alignment to the laws that are in place so that an incident like this doesn't occur again. But it will take time and resources to make sure that alignment, the ability to work together between the school and the foundation happens. Option 4 is to dissolve the foundation. This might show that the school took the incident seriously, but it eliminates a significant source of funding for the school for those supplemental programs and opportunities that are being provided from the foundation. I believe that the best option for this is option 3. I think this allows the foundation members to decide what is best regarding Mr. Bailey. It's their foundation. He's the president of that foundation. They can decide as a group how to move forward after this incident. I believe that by working together to evaluate, develop, and advocate for district-wide initiative to train staff and volunteers, this will help help the district as a whole make sure that the proper policies and procedures are in place so that something like this doesn't happen in the future. Again, hopefully, as they're working together, this involves some sort of legal counsel or experts in fundraising. And hopefully this would help develop a pre-approval process that would be necessary, again, to ensure that something like this doesn't happen, to safeguard both the school and the foundations and the people involved. Why do I feel like this is the best option? I feel like fundraising should be equitable for all students. I think if you create a district-wide policy, this helps eliminate some of that unhealthy competition that's happening between schools to raise the most money or in the most creative ways, those kind of things. It could be more beneficial if, as a district, you're trying to raise those money, or at least, again, all following the same procedures, so that then you can allocate funds equitably among students, and so that it doesn't create that divide of this school has this program or option just because they were able to raise more money, and another school does not have that option. By doing this and working together and creating those policies and procedures, I think this helps prevent future debacles from occurring and helps those in charge, specifically school administration, to navigate the tricky aspects of fundraising, because there's so much that school leaders are responsible for that's one thing that if you have policies and procedures in place and they follow them, it's a lot easier to know that you are doing the right thing and following the correct laws so that you don't get in trouble again. To implement this decision, I think that the following steps would need to take place. I think the first thing is you need to publicly address the incident and give the explanation. It was on the front page of the paper. This would be damage control. Know that it happened, say that you're sorry, and then present how you're going to prevent that in the future. I think the next step would be that working together, consulting with the superintendent, to figure out, and this might be a district-wide initiative where you're evaluating your current policies, and then develop and advocating for equitable policies and procedures necessary surrounding fundraising practices. Again, I think this would be beneficial not just for each individual school, but a district as a whole, so that everyone is on the same page and is providing resources equitably. Then I think we would need to meet with organizational leaders from the foundation and school leadership to develop a more in-depth training, again, seeking legal counsel if necessary. So providing that training for staff, for the foundation members. I know there's lots of turnover a lot of times in parent organizations, and so making sure that training is provided frequently so that all know the correct policies and procedures that have been implemented. And then I think a part of this is it's very important to implement an approval process so that there are checks and balances in place to help eliminate any other harmful incidents from occurring. Fundraising is an important aspect of education, and it takes a collaborative effort among all stakeholders. It can be used to support student learning and development, which is the case of the foundation. They were trying to provide supplemental programs so that each student, to give each student learning opportunities and enhance their learning and development that wasn't being able to be provided by the school. But if the proper policies and procedures are not in place, incidents like the one that we talked about can occur and cause major problems for the school and eventually hurt student learning and development. Working collaboratively with key stakeholders across the district, although it will take time and resources, is the best option to help eliminate other potentially harmful incidences from occurring. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.